Ha! I think I'm live. I'm sorry if you were there or you're catching it because I think I was turning myself upside down, which is quite appropriate for the energy. And I should tell you in a minute. Let me check. Oh, Liz is here. Can you hear me, Liz? I'm just checking. That means I'm live in the group, which is great. Jean's here. Hello, Jean. So you two have just missed me turning myself upside down and being being like a technophobe, which kind of happens. Hannah's here. I'm hoping that you can all hear me. I can't see. Just refreshed our page. Yes, I can see me on here. This is my new warm winter jumper that I bought last week because it's definitely getting cold. Even though the sun's out, it's blooming cold. Yes, I'm glad I'm the right way up too. And thank you, Liz. Yeah, so the energy, that was funny. I actually, if you catch just the very beginning, I'm fiddling with my phone and it's like I'm twisting it around. And I have to say, hi, Karen. I've been really nervous about this live, which is morning to you too. So I was a bit nervous when I was planning it, which was yesterday. And I don't mind spontaneity. That's what lives are about, and that's what the energy is about at the moment. So there's obviously the full moon energy that we're in from today, because it's always the day before and the day after. So I was tuning in, going, what's going on? What are you feeling a bit nervous for? And then it's always, I know from my own experience, nervousness is good because it keeps me on my toes, and it also means that energy is stirring, energy is moving. I don't fall into the I can't do it and all that kind of stuff. And even today, I was fine. And then just about 10-15 minutes before, I could feel that gurgling in my belly going again. I thought, ooh. So energy is definitely moving. It's probably moving on a personal level for me, which it will be moving for all of us. This moon is huge. The moons that have been, September, October, the full moons have been real cyclical beginnings and endings, and this is yet another big cycle of energy. I haven't tuned into it all that much yet. I'm going to afterwards. Hello, Lucy. Somebody else came in. Do say hello, don't be shy. Hi, Lee. But yeah, the moon tomorrow, which the energy begins today, from my kind of light pondering and connection with the energy and, talking to my guidance, is it really marks the advent, that's the right word, of 2020 energy. So things that we have completed between the start of this year, thank you for the wave, Lucy, that we've completed from the beginning of 2019. I keep saying 2018 too. Morning, Chrissy, lovely to have you here. And addressed and resolved and moved beyond, even if our head's telling us we haven't. If we have energetically, this is when the rewards start to come. So that normally for most of us will instill panic for every single thing we haven't done. However, there is still an opportunity to get things moving. And the message for this moon, and like I say, after this live, I'm going to meditate and connect. But I haven't really fully tuned in, but the message I've been getting is let go. So that also means let go of having done it wrong, having not done enough, and all those things, which is very comforting from a spiritual online perspective. Oh yeah, let go, it doesn't matter, nothing matters, there's no time, and we can all get really airy-fairy. But it's also saying let go of what isn't coming into 2020. I wish I could make everything sugar coated and say we don't have to do anything, we just need to let go and say don't worry, we can just sit there. And what's my guilty pleasure? Judge Judy. I can just watch Judge Judy all day and I'll have a thriving business and a thriving book deal and columns here and columns there and houses all over the world where I want them, and the ability to buy holidays and things that I need and want, and food, and pay for my electricity and blah 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 blah, gas, whatever, water bills, everything. It would just happen because I'm letting it go. I'm letting everything go. And we know it doesn't work like that. It's a distortion of what I call the divine joke or a spiritual paradox. So we have to be present, and that's what some of the message today is. Hi, Veronica. And Chris is saying morning to everyone. So at the moment, it seems I can read comments, which at some point I might not be able to do, just because Facebook is particularly weird. You're going to have to hang on a minute because have I got my notes? Oh no, I have. I'm very organised. I'm really organised. So if you've never done a live with me, I always have copious amounts of notes. I can see one piece of paper somewhere else that I'm going to go and have to go and get. So I'm going to actually disappear for 5 seconds. Hang on. You can count. Oh. There you go. I'm back. That's the problem with lives. It is like doing that Was Saturday morning live kind of show. So we're talking about visualization. I forgot to check, but I'm wondering whether we have... Hi, Veronica, too. It's lovely. I'm really happy with the engagement. I tell you what, lives are so much more fun, because even though I can't hear you, it just feels like we're doing this together. So doing this with you is also doing it for me. I mean, it's we're all learning something. We're all going to get an aha if we allow ourselves to. But it's... yeah, I'm not sure. I may have done a live on this before in the group, and I can't remember because I've got a memory of it. And then again, I might not have. But it's a topic that I've been teaching about, talking about for a really, really long time. So I'll tell you a little bit about me. I'm not going to bore you for too long because we've got about 30 minutes together. But I created this group. It's our birthday today, anniversary, even though we might have opened the doors a little bit before the 11th last year. The official launch was on the 11th, and we kicked off with a 9-day affirmation challenge, which I still look back on and love. It's in the unit section. If you haven't ever done it, or you feel like you want to take yourself through it again, it's fully there with the, with downloadable worksheets and things like that. Hello, Elaine. Yes, happy birthday to all of us. And I don't know if it's an anniversary or a birthday. I'm totally confused about what the etiquette is for a Facebook group, if there is one for birthdays. And it's an anniversary of our launch, but it's our birthday of existence. So it's both. It's a celebration anyway, and it's also the 11th of the 11th. And we started just after 11, and it's a magical day. It's a magical numerical day. Yeah, birthday, definitely birthday. That way I might be able to get myself some cake, even though I started yet another Monday diet. That's my thing. This week I'm going to be healthy, and it never works because I'm never that bothered. But it's a day for manifestation. So actually, it's quite appropriate that we're talking about visualization. So I created this group. I used to have another Facebook group, and I just hadn't engaged with it enough. There were more people in it, not that many more. It's not one of those. I didn't have like thousands of people. It was about 400, under 500. But it was just... I just wasn't engaging with it. I think I didn't understand the group thing, and there's a love-hate relationship so many of us have with social media, and I decided to embrace it and start again. And it takes... I've seen people close down groups and then restart them because they can't cope without them. And I think it takes a bit of courage to say that is now done. That energy has gone, and to be able to let go of stuff. And I've done it quite a few times in my career as well as in my business. Just said, right, that's it, that's done. Off, out, finished. And it doesn't always make sense to other people, but it's about following the energy in those sorts of, in life in general. I've also created the Abundance Oracle cards, which you would all know about, and I just wanted to share this because I'm so excited about it. They are in, which I can show you, it's a magazine in the UK, Chat It's Fate. They're in their kind of Christmas wish list. So this is also an opportunity I'm taking to remind you all, if you haven't got your cards, this is the time to order for Christmas, particularly if you aren't in the UK, because postal times, what I've learnt about the post, how bad it is in the UK for getting to places. Like I could fly to, I'm going to take where Elaine lives in Hong Kong. I could fly to Hong Kong today and be there tomorrow, but if I want to post something, it's going to take about 10 days. Obviously, I know Hong Kong is going through some turmoil and turbulence, so maybe the post would even take longer, and maybe my flight might take longer, but you get what I'm saying. And the cards are great. I pull one weekly. Yes, the cards are great, and we've got the Luminary Lounge, which I have set up as part of the cards. Every Wednesday we get to work with the cards. So as I was going to sleep yesterday, I started to get the guidance on what this week's work with the cards is going to be for everybody. It's a free membership. You get the reveal by video, but sent to you by email. And then this morning it got confirmed. So another exciting way, and it's also, I'm being stretched because we're working with the cards differently. I'm expecting some money at the end of next week, and I promised myself the cards. Keep that promise, Karen. Keep that promise. I also have my column in Spirit and Destiny, and I'm also the Soul Agent blog, my big passion, which is bringing together spirit, money and business together. And people might think, that means you're obsessed with money. You put, definitely not. But money is a representation of energy like everything else is. And it's about, if it's not flowing into our life, if everything we're doing is like not making the money flow and we're struggling, there is something unharmonious about our alignment. Something is off balance. We're off kilter. That doesn't mean that we're all going to be multi-billion billionaires, because that isn't everybody's destiny. Abundance is about always having more than enough, whatever that is. Whether that's 50p, and I'm going to use extreme examples, or 50 million, whatever it is, it's about more than enough. And it's not about comparison. It's not about an actual figure. One of the other things that occurred when I was launching this live yesterday was my end of year 2020 visionary program. I'm acting like I've done it before. It's a new program, but I was going to do a vision board workshop as the end of year grow and give program, where we give money to charity. And then it turned into this program yesterday. It was like the vision board is incorporated into it. And that's the piece of paper I went to get. I'm going to tell you really briefly about that before we start getting into the depth, and it will make more sense why I'm sharing this with you. But this is a pay-as-you-go program, not pay-as-you-go, pay-what-you-want program. If you want to have the details, I'll let you know. 77% of the money collected goes to the British Heart Foundation. So I've chosen that in memory and respect of my dad, and also because it's going to be his 77th birthday that he has missed. He's having it somewhere else, so it felt right. Normally I do a 50-50 split because it's about a win-win. Charity work, giving is never about sacrifice. It's about creating a win-win. So for you, if you join this program, which is going to be run over 4 weeks starting next Tuesday, every Tuesday at 3:00 in the afternoon, if you missed the live of that, you can be in the catch-up, but it'll be in a private members area, so nobody else who hasn't paid won't be able to access it. You'll be able to access it. There's going to be lots of downloadables and things for you to do. So we're going to be looking at what your soul theme is for 2020. So going in really deep with a process to understand what your soul theme is, not what your theme is. We'll all have a theme. I've got themes. I've got what I want, but actually I've got to listen to what my soul wants, and how you work with that, creating your mantra, your affirmation, the one real big soul one for the year. And then there's going to be an assignment for that week. Then the next week, we're going to be looking at how you create your vision. We're going to be taking the visualization that you're going to do today. We're going to be taking it further and looking at how you build in different affirmations and creating your vision board, which you will do as an assignment. And then the third week is about holding alignment, which is important between now and, it's important full stop, but between now and 2020, how you hold the alignment and move beyond limitations. One of the things you're going to learn today, visualization, people might feel that they're doing it, or think that they're doing it, but it's a bit like saying affirmations. If every time you say or do the visualization or say an affirmation, we're thinking, well, it's not going to work, and it didn't work last time. If all those limitations or fear of this better work, I need it to work, it's never worked before, or I don't know how it's going to work because I can't do that, I can't make that work, I can't achieve this, I can't create that, I can't lose weight, I can't leave my job to work on my business full time, whatever it is, you know, and it can be anything. But if we're doing it to go through the motions, we're off alignment. So we're not holding alignment, we're losing our nerve. So it's about developing a spiritual practice for 2020, not a spiritual practice for 2019, not a spiritual practice that you read about in 1997. It's about where you're focusing on, where you're heading. So there's going to be lots and lots of exercises and a toolkit, like you'll get a mini toolkit to work with. Because one of the things of our world is we get bored doing the same thing every single day. People just stop. If it's like the same meditation every day, 99.9% of the people just give up. So we need to build in that variety, but it's a variety that will allow the momentum to continue and isn't a stop, start, stop, start. Because every time you stop, you are on a stop, start. So, if you think about an aeroplane, how much fuel it uses to take off, that's what's happening with our stop starts. When we stop start with our alignment, with our practice, with what we've committed to, and that's what happens with visualization. So I'm really excited about that program. It's a pay what you want. There's a minimum suggested payment and a maximum. It is super low in any case, and it is about charity. So it's a really good time to get into giving and growing at the same time. It's a great opportunity also to give to the British Heart Foundation, which I've never done. I've done other charities before at the end of the year, and I was thinking about it, thinking, well, we're heart-centered entrepreneurs. What a beautiful thing to do anyway, to support the heart chakra, you know, and there's a lot of heart disease around in the world of various sorts, or heart issues and heart problems, and it's no surprise because we are entering into that energy of heart-centered, and people's hearts have been closed for many, many lifetimes, and it's been filled with emotion, filled with thoughts, filled with anything to keep the heart chakra kind of covered under a veil of our personality has taken that air over like guards. So it's moving all of that, so it's freeing up the energy that's been stuck as well, or filled up by the personality. So that's going to be starting next Tuesday, 3:00. So what is conscious visualization? Who here visualizes? Give me a yes if you do. Oh, and thank you for the hearts. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. It's just fun. Don't keep them coming if you don't want to, but it is just fun. It makes me smile. Conscious visualization. What is it? So I've got it written down here, so I'm going to read it. It's using your energy to project an image of possibility and you playing in that possibility. And I think playing is so key to this. Playing, it's fun. So you're playing in that possibility to step into conscious creation, which is manifestation. Okay, conscious creation. But it's not just manifestation of any kind, it's soul manifestation. It's really about that sort of level. You know, I'm sure there's people out there that can teach you to just will continue to teach about manifesting what only you want. I'm all about the soul, because that's how I'm being trained myself by my own spiritual mentors, and it's ongoing. You know, it's ongoing expansion. It doesn't end. You know, you think, oh, I've hit a point of great expansion, then it's like bang, there's another bit, there's another door, there's another door, there's another door. And I wouldn't want it any other way. I was having a conversation with someone just last week about actually when the growth stopped, when I've had moments where I've actually stopped my growth, it's been like soul destroying. I mean, mentally depressing. So growth is permanent. So if you feel like, oh my gosh, I'm growing again, or why have I hit another wall, we've got to learn to celebrate that. And Anthony's joined us. Hello, Anthony. So conscious visualization is part of manifestation. It's also what you radiate out into the world. Spirit have this habit, as not habit, it is a habit, it's a practice, it's sneaky, as does the universe. There's an economy of energy. So when you're doing something, that energy is being radiated out into the world. It's like, oh, good, we'll radiate. So there's this kind of permanent we're radiating our energy out So when we're visualizing, which we're doing unconsciously, but we're talking about conscious, it's going out into the world. It's filling mass consciousness. And if you ponder that for a moment, if it's completely constantly unconscious and habitual, and we're just thinking about what's not going to work and why we're not enough and why it's so scary and why everybody else is better than us and I'll never be that good, but I'm going to try, I hope, fingers crossed, and we're always spreading that energy out, we're putting that out into the world, and it's like junk that we're putting out into the world. Our anger, our fears, those mental conversations that we have. I wish I'd said. We've all done it, where you have had a conversation with someone and you had rehearsed it, and then you rehearsed it even after you've had the conversation, going, I wish I'd said that. That's what I should have said, and then they would have said that, and da-da-da-da-da. We're just putting that energy out there, and it doesn't necessarily even hit the person we're thinking of. It will hit whoever happens to be in the way of it. And it's probably not very pleasant, and we've all experienced where you're walking I'm in a great mood now, I could go out and I could hit some energy that somebody's just been projecting out from anywhere in the world. It doesn't even have to be, in your local area. So it's interesting that visualization is about what we radiate out into the world, as well as what we hold in our energy. It becomes, if we're constantly holding worries and fears, and that's what we're projecting out, that becomes our energy. So people find it very difficult to even interact with us. And from a business perspective, this is a classic telltale sign, is when people go, I love your work. I really want to work with you, and then they disappear. They kind of almost basically ghost you, rude as that may be. It's your energy, something about it isn't allowing them to be fully connected, because there's these barriers there if we're not conscious about what we're putting out into the world. So it's something to ponder on. So today's about how you get more conscious. Oh, I'm just going to check the time as well, because I know I've got 6 minutes. I'm going to go on a little bit longer, right? But if you've been on my lives, you know I do. But it's all good stuff. So, and we want to know why it's so unconscious or misunderstood. Why does it work? Why is it hit and miss? Why does it work sometimes? Why do we just forget to do it? Why do we start a visualization practice and then by day 2 we've just stopped? And I've shared this before. I think what's happened a lot, and social media has a lot to answer for, spiritual development has been taken for granted. So I hear still things like, oh, I'm a woman and I'm therefore intuitive. I was born intuitive. Were you? Are you? And men are intuitive. There is nothing sexist about intuition or any form of spiritual tool gift. But there's this idea that it's women's domain, and it isn't. It might be a feminine energy, but that doesn't mean that only women are intuitive. When I was born and growing up, my earliest memories are actually of seeing spirit, seeing energy and things like that. So I was kind of wide open. But I've never stopped learning about how to open my intuition. And I've never stopped going, oh my God, that was me limiting myself. And, being sometimes quite surprised or sometimes quite frustrated, as growth is like that, challenging, frustrating, adventurous, it's naughty, it's whatever. But there's no complacency. So there's no room to take it for granted. And there's this idea that, well, I did a workshop on visualization in 1997 or 1998, and I learned all about visualization then, and I've got nothing else to learn. And yet the reality of the actual reality of what we're living is that something isn't right. And when we grow, how we collaborate with the universe changes, how we use spiritual tools changes. Our understanding, when our guidance is allowed to get stronger, and the mind and the emotions lessen and weaken their hold and start to align to the soul and the higher self and the divine plan, of course how we operate in the world will change. We can never be that person that we were when we've expanded and understood, because you can't unknow something. But if we say, I've learnt it all now, then we're actually stopping our own growth. So it's it's one of the reasons why it can appear to be one of those things like meditation, like affirmations, like intuition. Oh yes, I know it, I know it, I know it. And of course we do. Of course you understand what visualization is. But it's actually going in deeper than it being this mental exercise. Because when it's a mental exercise of I know it, I know this is what you do, you sit here like this, you do this, you do that, you do this, you visualize something that you really want, and tick box, tick box, tick box, I've done it. And we'll talk a little bit about that in a second. There's no soul or spirit, and it becomes quite competitive and quite ego. So it's quite interesting, you know. We've got to kind of, those of us that can and are willing and able to, we need to break the mold of saying, you know what, it's okay to grow. It's okay to realise that something isn't actually been working, and putting our hands up and saying, I'm going to go and learn. Because that's inspirational. That's how we change the world. Because remember, we're radiating it out. If we're pretending that everything's working and it isn't, we're radiating out that pretense. And that is junk out into mass consciousness. And we're doing visualization unconsciously all the time. You know, we're unconsciously projecting a thought. Like, and a good example I give, and I'm much better at this now, I don't do this, but I used to catch myself, particularly in my 20s, you know, when you walk past a shop window or a car sort of window and thinking, oh, don't I look horrible? Or does my hair look terrible? And even that on these lives, I've learned, because it was another level of like immediate, ooh, you know, and that kind of inner chat is like it turns into a visualization, because you think, oh, I don't look very nice. I look a bit fat. I look terrible. I hate the way my mouth moves. And all of that is projecting out of, I'm not enough. I'm not good enough. I don't like me. I don't like me. I don't love me. And so it's so easy to be unconscious and not realize that we're doing it. So even if you're visualizing something, if you're visualizing for 5-10 minutes, and 5 minutes is really sufficient, you know, and by sufficient, I mean it's enough. But you can do 10 minutes. It's true, yeah, where awareness goes, energy flows. But if we're doing visualization, say every morning for 5 or 10 minutes, and spending the rest of the day just visualizing, oh, it's not going to work, or what's wrong with me, I'm not enough, everybody else is better than me, and all those things, it's almost like the visualization was just, again, it's back to that tick box exercise. And unless, you know, you're always aligned, you're constantly manifesting and growing, and manifesting doesn't mean that you always get the outcome that you think. Remember, it's not about thinking, it's about the soul. It's about, and with working with your soul purpose, in any case, there's a kind of trade-off between growth. You can't hold the light if you're not willing to let go of what is hiding your light. And so it's a constant journey until one day there's a convergence, which is enlightenment, really, where you're limitation free, where your ego, personality, however you want to call it, ego isn't bad, but where there is no necessity for your emotions or your thoughts in the way that they are at the moment, and they all integrate and burst into your soul, that burst into your higher self, and then you become a master. Likelihood is you won't be here. If you are a master, you probably be, you know, you would be back in spirit. So while we're here, there's learning and growing and service. It's all together. It's all part of that trade-off together. We're not just here to learn about how brilliant we are. We're not here to just deal with our own stuff. We're here to do it all together, walk that path together. And we obviously are going to do some of that alignment stuff in the 2020 visionary program, which I want you all to come on. I want 12 people on it to make it worthwhile doing it. So if you're a procrastinator, don't procrastinate. If you're someone that dilly-dallies and tells yourself you can't, you know, every time we say I can't to something as an excuse, we are projecting that out. And that's like basically putting another brick around your soul, another brick, and it's building this fortress around your soul, and your soul, it's trapping your soul, because your soul's saying what you're saying you can't. So what about the fact that I've got this plan, we've got a soul purpose and a plan here, and now you're saying now you can't. So you're saying, no, soul, don't move, I am trapping you here because I can't. So we've got to start waking up to that. So why else does conscious visualization not work or get forgotten? I've got a huge list here, and I want you to tell me which ones resonate with you. We've made it hard work. So it's a mental exercise. We think. I sit there thinking, really think really hard. It's almost like scrunching the face to really think. So there's no energy in it. It's just thinking hard. And really you're just trying to think, I don't want that to happen, and that's a real issue, and I'm going to sort that out by just thinking that it's better. So it's think. And then we've got boring. Many people won't talk about this, but if your visualization's boring, which mine have been in the past, I'm guaranteed I'll be asleep. Guaranteed I will be asleep. And I used to chuckle thinking I'll go and do a bit of visualization, and that was my code for falling asleep, because it was so boring. Because I was trying to be repetitive as well, doing the same thing. I really want to be successful, and I really want to do this, and I really want to be slim, and I really want to have a lovely house, and I really want to do all the work that I'm here to do and live my soul purpose, and out cold. Because there was no joy in it. It was like it was that repetitive, functional tick box exercise. And obviously simply then you forget doing it. You totally will forget to do it. So you'll decide, right, this is the week I'm going to visualize. We're going to do one in a minute. And then you'll not do it again because you've made it too boring. But I'm not going to let you make it boring. Yeah, consciousness isn't understood. And consciousness is challenging. People expect it to be rainbows and beach laptop lifestyle and all that. You know what? Sometimes it's a little bit messy. Sometimes it's a bit challenging. Sometimes it's bloody scary because you're doing things that are the unknown, and you've got people around you going, why are you doing that? That's never going to work. You know, I'll give you an example of, and I've shared this with some people. I was on my way to Hong Kong first time, and it was probably, in fact, more or less to the date 3 years ago, although I can't remember exactly, but it was 3 years ago. And I had launched a workshop there, an evening talk, in fact, and like an evening workshop. And I'd not got enough people in, and I was having a conversation with Spirit. I got a bit of a telling off, you know, and they know that would make me think, oh my God, I've been told off. And that was on the night before I was travelling. I was travelling in the morning, and it was like, well, you for the topic of money and all of that, you can't have 2 people on this course. It's not appropriate. It's you know, abundance is also knowing when to say, no, I'm not doing that. You know, you don't have to do everything just because 2 people have paid if your minimum was 6. You know, what's the point of working at a loss? So I visualised. I realised I hadn't been visualising, so I visualised that night. I visualised when I woke up in the morning, got to the airport, visualised before I had my champagne. Never ever visualise on alcohol or try and do spiritual work on alcohol. So I visualised on the plane, then I got a little bit piddly on some champagne, and then I got to Hong Kong. I was a bit of a space cadet because it's time zones, and I was staying with somebody who was like, we're going straight out so you can get into the time zone, no rest. I went to the venue to check, and there was 12 people that had signed up, from there being 2 to 12, and I hadn't done any physical marketing. I hadn't done anything physical. I had done the energy work, and out of that, 6 people then carried on working with me from when I did the talk. So that's how quickly energy can move. And that's the power of visualization. And it's not the only example I've got. So the other reasons it's there's no soul. If we don't speak to our soul and we're just visualizing, we never ask or listen. It's always going to be a challenge, because the soul will be trying to redirect us, but the mind and emotions are trying to stay in controlled. So then you've got, but we're going to cover that in the 2020 Visionary Program, because we're going to look at your soul theme. We're going to really start with the soul before we get into anything else. You know, if we can put the soul first, everything's going to start becoming easier. Other reason, don't know if you're doing it right. You know, if you went to a workshop in 1997 and you're doing your visualization based on that, and you've read a few books, you've seen a few blog posts, you've seen this live and now think you're an expert at it for yourself, but you're doubting it, then that means what you're doing when you're visualizing is you're constantly in doubt. And if you're in doubt about what you're visualizing, in any case, you're spreading that doubt too. You make a meal of it. You sit for too long. People say to me, oh yes, I was visualizing for 30 minutes. I'm like, what? It's just too much. It's become a head exercise again. 5 minutes is sufficient. 10 if you really want to. You don't need to do any more. Remember, energy is instant. Not clear on what they're visualizing, so there's no foundation. It's kind of like, don't know, maybe. I'm visualizing this today, and I'll visualize that tomorrow, and I'll visualize something else, and I'll visualize this, that, and the other. So you need a foundation. You need a plan, even if it's not fully your soul plan. The fact that you've talked to your soul and you've got bits, and you're open to continuing to listen, it will continue to direct you. But if you're constantly chopping and changing ideas, like today I want a house, no I want a car, tomorrow no I want a boyfriend, no I want to be slim, no I want this, no I want that, I want that, you're trying to hedge your bets everywhere. Reason number 9, take no aligned action. Action is part of it. That's how we ground the energy. If we don't take action, there's no grounding of energy. And for some things, you need bigger action. You know, it's understanding what the action is going to be. Number 10, don't have fun. If you're so we talked about visualization being boring. It's just yawn. We've got to make it fun. It's got to be exciting. It's got to feel thrilling, right? 11, we make it about other people. Oh, I need them to do this. I need that person to say yes. I need that person to give me this. We can't control others with any of our manifestation. We can only manifest what we're here to manifest. We cannot control other people ever. Another reason, people expect the universe to make it happen. This is a big undercurrent of, well, I visualized yesterday, wasn't the universe made it happen? And to mask the fact that we don't feel like we have a place in the universe doesn't love us, I'm a fraud, the universe knows that, I've got bad karma, I must be evil, blah, 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 is what the universe, and I used to feel this really early on when I stepped out into full-time business. I just developed this idea of I was a fraud, and why would anybody want to pay me, and the universe must know this, and I'm on the edge of the universe, and all this drama and story. But then the mask to cover that, because it was quite uncomfortable to feel that, was, well, the universe has to make this happen. So then I turned it into anger against the universe. Nobody would know I was angry. I never even expressed it, but it was inside. And the universe sees our energy. We can't hide it. Number 13, there's no abundance alignment. So we're going to go into a visualization in a minute. And thank you for staying here. If you want to get 10 new clients booked in the first quarter of next year, you want a 6-figure business, a column, a book deal, whatever it is, or you want to lose weight, get ready for a marathon, or you want to be able to travel the world in June for the rest of the year, in 2020, whatever it is that you're focusing on visualizing. And it doesn't have to be, well, I'm going to feed a million starving children. It doesn't have to, we don't need to prove that we're doing something that's so altruistic either, because once we shift our energy, it shifts in all the other areas of our life. But if there's no alignment to abundance, if your money relationship sucks, sucks is a very spiritual word, isn't it? If you've got a scarcity and lack strong connection, then what you're visualizing is always going to have that undercurrent of, it's not going to work, I can't make this work. So I'm just going to read a few comments. If you've got any questions, do, because we're just about to go into the visualization. I'm going to take you through a very quick process. Internal anger against the universe, yet guilty of that. I was trying to manifest working with you earlier this year, and extremely angry at the time the money didn't appear to allow me to do that. And for things like that, Karen, and I would say it to anyone, when we're angry, it isn't going to appear. Because first of all, the universe doesn't respond to our demands. And sometimes we actually just have to accept where we are and ditch the anger. And sometimes, and this is what I do when if I haven't got the readies available for what I want to do, is I put something down. Literally, it's like putting a deposit down, putting something down that ties me to making it, because I can't build expansion if I'm standing where I am. None of us can. We can't expect change by saying, well, I'm standing here where I have been, and make it shift, make it change. We actually have to move. We actually have to take a physical and energetic, spiritual, emotional, mental movement. And that's the bit that scares people. That's the bit that scares people. And that's the bit that makes people go back to, particularly with money. Well, I haven't got any. And people will do the same with time. But I haven't got time. But you didn't move to see what the expansion was. That's what I would say to that. So any other questions? Or are you all ready? Give me a thumbs up or a heart or something if you're ready to do the visualization. Oh my goodness, I've really gone on. I should have just done it for an hour. I don't know. I was kidding myself, wasn't I? I hope you're finding this useful. I'm loving sharing it in any case. And that's part of the importance. So we've got thumbs up, hearts come in. Don't be shy, don't be quiet. Remember, you can catch the replay in here as well. So you can listen again. And when you do, you'll get more. Because I know I'm speaking fast because I'm trying to bend time. So, any ahas? Plumber turned up halfway through, waiting for him to leave. Now, isn't that interesting? The plumbers deal with something generally to do with water, be it even if they're installing a bathroom or something, it's all water related, which is emotional body. So it's never a surprise who turns up when we're doing. I used to go for healing, and quite often the bin men would be where I used to go for healing, and there was a thing about, the third time it's like, okay, there's a message here. Not always the first time. But yes, interesting, water, emotions. So I want you to think, all of you, about something that you wish to experience, create, achieve in 2020. Something very specific, okay? In the 2020 Visionary Programme, we're going to be looking at the soul theme and then what that can look like on a much broader energetic and practical kind of basis. But at the moment, for this experience, I want you to think of something that you specifically want to create. Not something necessarily that you haven't completed now. I want you to just something that's going to be exciting for your 2020. If it's going to be like, oh, I hope to write my book, and you've been saying it for the last 10 years, you might need to let that go. That doesn't mean you're letting the book idea go. You're just letting that clutter go. So something that might be, I'm going to leave my job. I'm going to work with Sarupa. I'm going to travel. I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to train for the marathon. I'm going to find a new, partner. I'm going to move. I'm going to move country. Doesn't matter what it is, but it's got to be, actually that sounds great to me. So be specific. And ask yourself, how much do you desire it, and will you do what it takes to make it happen, whether it's health, love or business? Are you really, or are you just choosing something and then going, there you go, universe, I've just visualized this on this live and you've got to make it happen. So be honest with yourself. If you want to share what it is, share in the comments, but in about a minute, less than a minute, we're going to start the visualization and or take the next step of the process. So fixing a leak, Hannah, fixing a leak. Interesting. I think I'm going to be writing an article about this, the things that happen in our home and cars and IT and things like that, and what the energy representation of them is, what the energy is saying to us, because it's always speaking. So, but you'll have to wait for that. When you've got what you've got, I want you to put your left hand, this is my left hand because it's got an L, mind you says that, but this is the real L. Left hand on your heart And I want you to quieten your energy, and I want you to ask your soul. So I need you to connect to your heart and saying, is this for me? Is this for me to visualize for 2020? And you'll get a yes or a no. It's not a debate. It's not an if, but maybe conversation. It's a yes or a no. If it's a no, just revert back to something else, because that means that you had another idea that you quickly pushed away. You know, you were inspired about something for 2020 that you shoved away because you thought, no, that's too big, that's too silly, I could never do that, how could I do that? You know, we all do it. We're so instant at going, oh no, I couldn't do that, and we move it away, that we don't even realise we're doing it because it's become automatic and unconscious. When you've got your yes, and even if you haven't quite got your yes yet, because you're still going through it, we're going to move into the visualization because I want you to experience it. And it's not going to do you any disservice, but you can come back to this live to redo this bit. And when you're on the 2020 Visionary program that we're doing for the British Heart Foundation, 77% of what you pay, and it's there is a suggested payment, will be going to the British Heart Foundation. Happiness for me and everyone around me. So I would focus on happiness for you, because you can't bring other people into it. It's almost like saying, well, because I'm thinking of other people, that make it better. Happiness around you, you'll be spreading that anyway. That will be what you're radiating when you begin to achieve it. So we don't bring other people into it. We can't say, well, I want this, I want to visualize success for that person, because we're then sacrificing ourselves. It's very subtle. So thanks for sharing that, Anthony. And yes, glad the leak is getting fixed. So we're going to go into the visualization. So I want you to close your eyes. Excuse me. And I want you to just bring to your awareness whatever it is that you're focusing on for 2020. That one specific thing. And remember, we're not going global. We're going into a very specific thing. The more specific you've been, the easier this particular part of the process is going to be for you. And I want you to just begin, before we get more deeply into the visualization, how would it feel to achieve it? Would it feel fantastic? Would it feel amazing? Would you feel jubilant? Would you feel triumphant? Would you feel so delighted? Would you be jumping for joy? What's the key word? Would you just feel so at peace? Would you feel, what would you feel? One feeling word, the first word that comes. Okay, and I want you to remember that word. So now, with your eyes still closed, I want you to just relax by focusing in on your breathing. So taking a couple of deep breaths and then allowing your breath to just be at a normal rhythm. We're not holding breath, we're not pushing breath out. So just allowing yourself to really relax. So drop the shoulders, soften the belly, soften the lower back. And just feel the energy around you. Even if you can't see it, you know there's an auric field around you. So trust it. And you're at the center of this energy. And around your energy is a blue flame of protection from Archangel Michael that seals your energy sacred. So this is your space, your sacred time. This is your time. And I want you to bring that feeling in that you just realized or claimed that you would feel when you achieved what you're focusing on for 2020, that one specific thing. This is where you need to be disciplined and committed, because you're going to want to go bigger and make 2020 all about everything. But that's not what the energy that we're working with at the moment. And it's okay to work on one thing. So bringing in that feeling, how does it feel? Allowing that feeling as if it's showering over you, filling every part of your energy field and body and mind and emotions, and every chakra is filled with that feeling of having achieved, that feeling of having created, moved beyond whatever it was. And from this space, I want you to start to visualize that you're achieving that specific goal, that you're creating it, that you're doing it, whatever it is. I want you to see yourself. If it's something to do with your health and you want to do more healthy exercises, you're doing something, you're swimming, you're running, your fitness levels are increasing. If it's business, you're working with a client, you're doing a talk somewhere. If it's a book, then you're in a bookstore giving a talk. I want you to have some fun and excitement, and I want that, like that nervousness I had at the beginning of doing this. Don't worry about if you're feeling that nervousness. So just allow the energy to move. Allow yourself to even maybe gently smile without too much of a big smile, because I'm not trying to take you away from the visualization that your soul has agreed. So I'm just going to give you a minute where I'm not going to speak, and I want you to focus on just this visualization. It's like an unfolding of a story, an unfolding of a film, an unfolding of what could be, and you're playing in the possibilities. There are so many possibilities that are showing you, because remember, when you visualize, a bit like when you say your affirmations, the brain doesn't know the difference between you doing it or visualizing it or affirming it. And the more we do this, the more the brain creates neural pathways to say, oh, this is done. So it actually starts to support your achieving, creating and doing of what it is that you are being shown is for your path for 2020. So I'm going to go silent now. Keep visualizing. Don't let your mind wander. And allow yourself to have some fun. If you're finding that you're drifting off and getting bored, and that means that you're not allowing yourself to have fun, and are you visualizing the right thing? They're all clues. Or are you just in so much doubt? And then what are you going to do about that doubt? It needs to be addressed. How can you make this more fun, more real, and allow that feeling to become stronger? That feeling of having achieved. Excellent. Going to allow the visualization just to start to dissolve. Obviously, when you're doing this yourself, you can do this for 5 minutes is sufficient. Once you've allowed yourself to feel, then you allow yourself to get into the visualization, and it doesn't have to be the same every single time. It's not about a memory game. That's not what spiritual development is about. It's not about a memory game. And at the end, as you open your eyes, I want you to take a deep breath, open your eyes, let any excess energy go down your body, down your spine, from your legs and out from your feet into the earth to ground it and ground you. But grounding the energy is important. And I want you to smile and say out loud, this or better. This or better. That's what visualization is about. This or better. It's not about putting you into a box. It's not about limiting you or saying, well, I only think that this is possible. This is about playing in the possibilities. So, Karen's had to leave us. Anthony's saying I'm rhyming it. This or better. Yes, Jean, this or better. So let me know how today has been. This has been our little anniversary show. Let me know. And I really want, I'm really will be disappointed. I'm going to be disappointed, and I'm going to be honest, if people don't come to the 2020 Visionary Programme. We are doing this 77% for charity. It's a win-win. We grow, we give. It's a really beautiful way to end the year. We're going to be doing, it's going to be very much about doing the energy work. You're going to be doing the energy work. I'm not doing it for you. Nobody else can do it for you. You're going to be doing the energy work to look at what your soul theme is, what your mantra affirmation is, how you create the vision. And I'm going to be sharing so many different ways of visualizing and different techniques. I felt exuberant. I can't spell it. I think that's almost right. But yes, I love this is all better too, Karen. I managed to stay throughout. Wonderful, thank you. You're welcome, Chrissy. But we're going to be creating the vision. You're going to be doing the energy work. And on January the 1st, I will share a process. I'm not going to gather people together live on January the 1st, but I will share a process for everybody who's joining the program, the 2020 Visionary, where you can align to the light of 2020. I did this last year. Spirit taught me, and it was one of the most amazing ways to align and welcome the year. You know, it was pure wow. Why haven't I done this all the time? But yes, I know I've gone on to the hour almost. So thank you. I will be better next time by saying that it's going to be an hour. Let me know if you want to come onto the program. Let me know if you've got any questions. If you're watching the replay, let me know that you're watching the replay. Let me know how you're also working with the visualization that we've just done today, because that is something for you to work with. And everything that I've shared is about, you know, the commitment, the fun, the playing in possibilities. Visualization is an amazing tool. I heard somebody a couple of weeks ago telling people not to visualize, that it's bad for you. What a load of cobblers. It's one of the most amazing tools that makes spiritual development and manifestation effortless. It actually stops, it makes doing less and being more, and that's the end game. So I really hope that you're going to have some fun, and I'm looking forward to taking you on this 4-week journey starting next Tuesday, and I'm looking forward to sending you the link so that you can join in for the 2020 Visionary Programme. But for now, I'm going to love you and leave you, and I'm going to go and get some early lunch. So, big kisses.